The government shut down for what, 31 days now?
34. What benefits are undocumented immigrants getting from our federal government?
Healthcare.
They don't qualify for Medicaid or Medicare. I hate to break it to you. The only way an undocumented immigrant can get health care is if they live in like a couple blue states, like California, where they can get the state benefit called Medi-Cal. All right? States are allowed to give welfare benefits to undocumented immigrants using state funding. They can't use federal funding for those benefits, A. And the federal government can't give any benefits like that to undocumented immigrants, B. And of course, when we're talking about the government shutdown, we're talking about the federal government shutting down because Congress can't agree on where to spend federal money. But because of the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act, we already know that the federal government can't spend any federal money on Medicaid or Medicare for undocumented immigrants, so you're wrong.
It's the Democrats that's holding up the votes.
No, it's the Republicans that are arguing that
Why do we see it like this?
It's the Republicans that are arguing that we should defund particular Affordable Care Act subsidies that will increase Medicaid premiums for 55 million Americans by 75%. Their premiums are expected to go up on average by $16,000 per year. Okay? Do you think people on Medicaid have $16,000 to spare?
No, they don't.
So, in other words, the Democrats are preventing the Republicans from bankrupting this country. So what you just did was you contradicted yourself. You said that, well, technically, yeah, I wouldn't have voted for Trump if he was like held civilly liable for like sexually abusing or raping an adult woman. Okay, well, a matter of fact, that's true. He was. Okay, 2023, a unanimous jury of 9 ruled that he was guilty of the rape of E. Jean Carroll, right? So obviously, in accordance, right, with that statement, you no longer support Trump today. And if you do still support Donald Trump today, then you're either a hypocrite, contradicting what you said 10 seconds ago, right, or right, you would indeed support somebody that has raped a woman as president.
Okay, so I'm in support of Donald Trump because he is going in and getting things done, such as closing the border. Some random guy out there just, abusing women or taking advantage of females or whatever it is, they're not going to be able to go up there and do the things that Donald Trump is doing. Okay, some random dude on the streets is not going to be able to do that.
Okay, so I mean, I was following the first part when you said that you support Trump because you think he's closing the border. The second part of the statement, were you trying to dispute that Donald Trump has abused women or girls?
No, I am not. I'm not no.
Okay, so you accept that Donald Trump has abused women and girls?
Yes, I would say so. So I haven't heard or seen evidence, but you say so. So I'm supposed to believe that, but I'd rather find that in my own evidence.
Okay, so if you had evidence, like for instance,
so far from now, then
if you had evidence, for instance, that Donald Trump had sexually exploited naked little girls and/or naked women, would you still support him?
If I had evidence, show me evidence.
Oh, I'm asking if you had evidence, would you still support him?
If I had evidence?
Yeah. Certain evidence that you couldn't deny.
Certain evidence that cannot be denied.
Yes.
Certain evidence that couldn't be twisted even by the Democratic ways.
Right.
Huh?
Right. Then would you still support him?
Well, show me what you got.
Well, you're not answering my question. If you had certain evidence that couldn't be denied, that Donald Trump had, like, for instance, sexually exploited naked girls and or naked women by perving on them when they were naked in a private woman's only space, would you still support him as president?
So you're trying to corner me and you're trying to get me to
I'm just asking you. Oh, ma'am, I'm asking you just a simple question, right? So this is a question that you could respond yes to. This is a question that you could respond no to, right? There's no other possible way to respond to the question.
I'm going to go ahead and respond that I would not be in support of them. Go ahead.
Okay, so you would stop supporting Trump right now, and you would retract your loyalty from MAGA and retract your support from Trump if you knew with certain damning evidence that he had sexually exploited either naked women and or naked girls by barging in on them to look at them while they were naked with no clothes on unconsensually while they were in a private woman's only space. So here's a clip of Donald Trump admitting to exact believe that. When I'm done playing this clip, I want you to retract your support from Trump. And I obviously know that the likelihood will be that you won't and that you're going to contradict yourself. So just before that, let's just go ahead and make sure that we got the timestamp on YouTube where you told us that you wouldn't support Trump if he had done that, so I could call you a hypocrite and replay the clip.
Arguing just on reciprocal notions.
Give me a second. When I'm done playing, let's find it real quick. I'd like, for instance, sexually exploited question. If you had certain evidence, okay, we found the question. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And
well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like
everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Yeah, bite the bullet. So in that clip, Donald Trump admitted to the sexual exploitation of naked women and or naked girls by looking at them when they were naked without consent while they were in a private women's only space. You told me if you had certain evidence that Donald Trump had done that, you would stop supporting Donald Trump right now. Obviously, him admitting to it is certain evidence. So go ahead, take the red hat off. Tell us you're no longer MAGA.
So, as long as he identifies as a woman before he walks through that door, according to your democratic values, then he's fine, right?
I don't even need to dispute that because he didn't. I mean, feel free to try to pull some shit here. But matter of fact, right? Even if that gibberish nonsense bullshit that you just said was true, right?
I'm glad you agree that it's gibberish nonsense bullshit, because any man being able to walk to any room.
So what's gibberish nonsense or bullshit, right? Is thinking that somebody could just choose, right, their gender identity, or change their gender identity, or say that it's one thing to take advantage of people. That's right-wing propaganda that's inherently anti-trans. But I don't know if you know what a pivot is. But it's when you change the topic of a conversation because you are a low-tier, unintelligent loser, right, that can't stick to your words. So I'm going to go ahead and just get us back on track here. You told us that if you had certain evidence Donald Trump had sexually exploited naked women and or naked teens, right, naked girls, by looking at them when they had no clothes on consensually, that you told us that you'd stop supporting him if he had done those things. Now, you just heard a clip of him admitting to doing those things. So once again, the question remains, are you finally going to take that red hat off, or are you now going to retract your support from Trump and retract your loyalty from the MAGA movement?
I really want to know why you do this to people. Why do you make them want to verbally say this and try to support someone that they are not in support of?
So you're asking me why I asked you that question? Well, it's because I want you to stop.
No.
So then I'm
confused. You literally want to hear me say that I do not support Trump.
Right. I do want to hear you say that. Yes, I want to see you on the right side of history.
I want to know
right,
the psychology of this.
I just want to make clear. I just want to make sure you don't support Trump anymore, right?
Well, I will always support Trump.
Wait, but you told us that you'd stop supporting him if he sexually exploited naked women and or naked girls. Listen to the clip. No. Listen to the clip, Vince. Listen to the clip.
Trump did not say that
Donald Trump had, for instance, sexually exploited naked girls and or naked women by perving on them when they were naked in a private woman's only space. Would you still support him as president?
So you're trying to corner me, and you're trying to get me to
I'm just asking you, right? Ma'am, I'm asking you just a simple question, right? So this is a question that you could respond yes to. This is a question that you could respond no to, right? There's no other possible way to respond to the question.
I'm going to go ahead and respond that I would not be in support of them. Go ahead.
Okay, so you would... Oh, wait, what happened to that? You said if Donald Trump had done this to women and or girls, you would not be in support of him. You would retract your support. Now, after I prove that he's done that to women and or girls via his own admission,
I wanted you to
now you're saying that you'll always be in support of him. So, in other words, you are a spineless coward. In other words, you're a member of a cult. In other words, you don't care about harm towards women, girls, victims. In other words, you don't care about truth. And in other words, when you told us you would stop supporting Trump if he had done those things, you were just trying to LARP as a reasonable person, when in all reality, We forced you to take the mask off by proving he had done that, then forcing you to answer the question, do you still support him? And when you do take the mask off, what comes out is this monster that doesn't base their beliefs off of reality. You attempt to build reality off of your beliefs. Okay? You attempt to change the facts based upon your emotions, and for whatever goddamn reason, you will support the 34-count felon, adjudicated rapist, sexual exploiter of little girls and women that took health care away from 10 million people and is now refusing to abide by a court order that mandated he care about starving Americans. For why? For why? Like, why do you take your human dignity and set it aside? Why do you take your brain out of your head and put it in the blender just to support this tyrant?
I feel like he is making decisions for the country that a lot of other presidents should have already made.
Like which ones?
Like going after Venezuela.
Oh, okay. So trying to like bomb other countries and start wars. I thought that he was the pro peace president.
Do you have any idea how many drugs comes from that country? And do you know how many people pass away from overdoses?
Did you know that 80% of the DRUGS that are brought into this country are brought in by citizens? According to Homeland Security.
I don't find that to be true.
That's Kristi Noem, though. That's Trump. That's Homeland Security. That's who's saying that.
So how would you personally, do you have a plan on trying to get illegal substances from getting into our country? Would you have a better plan?
Yeah. The significantly better plan would be to be significantly more critical of the citizens coming into this country. We have an epidemic of our own citizens bringing these substances into America because they undergo less scrutiny at the southern border. So instead of demonizing the immigrants, demonizing the undocumented immigrants, saying they're the ones bringing all this heinous shit into America, they're the ones committing the violent crimes, they're the ones that have escaped mental asylums and prisons. Right? The actual plan would be to focus on the real issue, which is the citizens coming across the border with the DRUGS. That's what we need to do, and that's something Donald Trump has never done. You can't.
So are you saying that things are grown here in the United States? You do know that those things are grown in Colombia and Venezuela.
I said that 80% of the things that are brought into this country, right, are brought in by citizens. Once again, according to the Department of Homeland Security.
Okay, so if that's the citizens bringing this over to the country, wouldn't you want to pretty much get it from the roots? Kill it from the roots. Unalive it from the roots. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to use a...
I don't even know what you're saying.
Okay, if you have acres and acres and acres of illegal substances growing, and that's your goal, is to stop having that come into the country, you would obviously go over and destroy the stuff that they have growing, planning to be chopped up and brought into the States.
I'm not sure if that's within our jurisdiction.
It would be. It would be. So do you know that right now
maybe with a declaration of war?
Right.
Do you think that we should declare war in Venezuela?
I think that was recently. There may be a really good chance that's going to happen. Do you know that they are under?
So I just want to clarify that you support
blackout.
So you support the felon and commander, right? Even though he sexually exploited kids, because you think he's going to declare war in Venezuela.
Why do you keep going back to the whole sexually exploited kids?
Because you said that you'd stop supporting Trump if that's something he's done.
And I don't know if that is something he has done.
But you listen to him.
If that is, but you know what? That's what you say.
No, that's what Trump said in the clip that I played. Come on. That's what he said in the clip that I played. He said that he liked to go backstage before the shows, go into the private women's only spaces where there was no men around, and look at the people in the space while they had no clothes on. When they were naked,
okay.
That's sexual exploitation. That's what you listen to him admit.
Well, do you think that that's what men who identify as women do when they go to the locker rooms of the females?
Okay.
Do you think that's fair?
So
Because
when you
that was
say-
made under the
when you say
democratic law.
men that identify as women, you're talking about trans people. Okay, I don't think trans women are men. No, that's actually not what they do. But I mean, just the baseless pivot to trans people when you're faced with a fact, right? That you support
no.
Donald J. Trump as president, even though he's done these things, is pathetic.
This goes
right?
hand in
Like think about it
hand.
this way: how much of your life, or how much of your mental energy, resources, so on and so forth, have been dedicated towards attacking trans people? Right? Like so much. Okay. That was the third largest place, right, where the Republicans spent money on ads prior to the election. And what you're telling me now is that what Donald Trump did is synonymous to what trans women do, right? But yet you spent so much money to ensure that the Democrats wouldn't win. So apparently these evil trans women couldn't be emboldened. But then at the same time, you tell us that Donald Trump is your favorite president and you'll never stop supporting him, even though you're the one that made the comparison between what you think trans women do and what he's actually done and admitted to doing. Right? So if you don't support trans women for this completely fictitious, demonic, false reason, right? Therefore, in order for you to maintain consistency here, you wouldn't support Trump either. Like, would you ever make a trans woman president?
I have no problem with trans.
Would you ever make a trans woman president?
I have no problem with
Would you ever
trans.
vote for a trans woman?
Well, I can't say whether I could or whether I couldn't. So...
Well,
I have no
wait,
idea.
Didn't you just get done saying that like trans people like abuse children?
No, I have no idea if a trans person would ever be able to get to that high value presidential seat. I have no idea if they'd be able to do that, to achieve that.
Well, that's not even the question that I asked you, right? The question that I asked you is, would you ever personally support somebody that is trans serving as their president? Trans woman.
I'm going to try to vote for the person who has the best future in our own hands. I don't vote on race. I don't vote on gender. I don't vote. That's not how I feel like you're cornering me to
so what do you vote based
say
upon?
that I vote on genders.
So what do you vote based upon?
I vote based upon policies.
Okay, name 3 Trump policies.
Name 3 Trump policies.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, things that he's done has been...
Name 3 policies. Name 3 Trump policies.
The border wall. One.
The border wall that he built 35 miles of, not through a policy, but through an executive order. That wasn't one of his policies. That was an EO. I'm asking you for policies.
That was one of his promises.
I asked you for policy because you said that you vote based on policy. A policy would be like a bill through Congress. So it doesn't seem like you vote on policy.
No, I do vote on policy, but I also vote upon action.
So if you vote on policy, name 3 Trump policy.
Okay, so as for policies, would you consider immigration a policy?
No, because immigration is a word.
Okay, then I'm not sure what you're asking for.
I'm asking you for policies. Do you want me to give you an example?
Yes.
The Big Beautiful Bill is one of Trump's policies. Would
Okay.
you like another one? The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is one of Trump's policies. How about another one? Let me know. Do you want another one?
Sure.
Okay, the Right to Try Act is one of Donald Trump's policy. Another one would be the VA Missions
The right
Act.
to try what?
That's the Right to Try Act. Another one would be the VA Missions Act. So those are like 4 examples of Donald Trump's policies. So you're telling us here that you are never going to stop supporting Trump as president, and you support him as president predicated on his policies. But then not only am I able to name more policies of Trump's than you, but you can't even name one.
Well, I don't know the titles of the policies that he has named. I know what he does in the policies.
Right. Do you think that Donald Trump is good for low-income Americans? Or do you think he fucking hates them? Because I think he fucking hates them.
I don't know. I'm at question at that.
What's leaving you questioning, considering the fact that he was forced by a court to fund SNAP benefits to keep 42 million Americans from starving, including 13 million children, Rachel? Thank you for the meteor shower. And in response to that, he said, no, fuck you. I'm not going to honor this court ruling. I'm going to break the law just so people could starve.
So I don't think that that's, you know, just the Republican side of the office that's trying to do that.
When have you seen a Democrat
It's
break the
more of
law
a
just so people
filibuster.
starve?
I'm sorry?
When have you seen a Democrat break the law just so people could starve?
So what is it? 12 people left to vote? Am I right? There's 12 votes left and every single one of them are Democrat.
And
What are
wait,
they voting
how are
against?
Democrats refusing to vote against the Republicans' funding bill? So Medicaid premiums don't go up by 75% for 55 million Americans, which would bankrupt us, which would kill us. Crystal, thank you so much for the blooming heart. Synonymous to Donald Trump breaking the law so people starve.
No, it's so that
It's
the
not
immigration,
synonymous.
the people that should not be on food stamps right now or SNAP shouldn't be on them.
So the
It's-
people,
it's
wow,
eliminating them.
wow, yes, I agree. People that shouldn't be on food stamps shouldn't be on food stamps. What?
Okay, well,
Like what? Like what?
illegal
Wait,
immigration.
no, think about it this way. Wow, I agree. If I have red shoes on, I have red shoes on. I
How
agree
are
that
you
if I'm
supposed to
5'9",
cut
I'm
off?
5'9". I agree that if I like Trump, then I like Trump. If I don't like Trump, then I don't like Trump. I agree if you're not smart, you're not smart. I agree if you're smart, you're smart. See, so you're just like repeating yourself. Yes, if there's somebody hypothetically that shouldn't be on food stamps, and it is true that they shouldn't be on food stamps,
I'm
since it
not
was an
talking
assumption in the
about
first place
Americans.
that they shouldn't be on food stamps.
I'm not talking about Americans. Americans do deserve the assistance. I'm talking about the other half that aren't American, that are not citizen.
Undocumented
Those
immigrants.
are the ones but that's the ones that's in.
Oh, yeah, no, totally. Listen, do you know what the personal work order?
That's the one that's in the bill
Yeah?
that they're trying to fight for.
Yeah, that's not true. I hate to break it to you. Do you know what the personal work?
No, it's very true. It is very
I'd
true.
hate to be so like propagandized. It's embarrassing. Do you know what the?
Do you know the page? Do you know what page it's on?
Do you know what the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act of 1996 is?
No. Why would I know that? That's random.
Well, it's not random because it's a bill that Congress passed to strictly limit public welfare benefits from being given to undocumented immigrants in non-emergency scenarios. Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 federal laws in the books that expressly prevent undocumented immigrants from getting food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare, Section 8, so on and so forth from the federal government.
So if there's a president out there,
Don't pivot.
Let's say
Don't pivot.
I'm not trying to
Okay.
pivot.
Okay.
I'm not. I was going to bring up a completely different topic, but I'll stop.
So respond to that, please.
Can you repeat it?
Yeah, so you said that undocumented immigrants get food stamps. Then I was like, no, only legal residents and citizens qualify for federal food stamps because there's like 5 federal laws already on the books that prevent and criminalize, make it illegal for undocumented immigrants to be able to receive those benefits. I even gave you one of them, the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act in 1996.
So it's not the food stamps. It's not the snaps.
Oh, well, you
That
said it was. So now you're changing your claim, but that's okay. Change it. What are undocumented immigrants getting?
No, that is
Democrats
inside-
want to fight for them to continue to get.
That is something that is inside what they are. Other things that they're trying to fight for
What are they
that will
fighting
not
for?
allow. Okay, so they have been in the government shutdown for what 31 days now.
34.
34 days.
Yeah.
So
So now what benefits are undocumented immigrants getting from our federal government that the Democrats are fighting for them to get that caused the shutdown?
healthcare,
Healthcare. Like what healthcare? Be more specific. Medicaid, Medicare,
any healthcare.
any healthcare? Well, they don't qualify for Medicaid or Medicare. I hate to break
Well-
it to you. See, that's the Personal Work Order and
Under
Responsibility
the
Act of
Trump.
96 also applies to Medicaid and Medicare. Now, the only way an undocumented immigrant can get health care is if they live in like a couple blue states, like California, where they can get the state benefit called Medi-Cal. All right? States are allowed to give welfare benefits to undocumented
And
immigrants
that-
using state funding. They can't use federal funding for those benefits, A, and the federal government can't give any benefits like that to undocumented immigrants, B. And of course, when we're talking about the government shutdown, we're talking about the federal government shutting down because Congress can't agree on where to spend federal money. But because of the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act, we already know that the federal government can't spend any federal money on Medicaid or Medicare for undocumented immigrants, so you're wrong.
You're very, very intelligent in all this. I'm wondering, what did you study?
What did I study in school? Philosophy.
That's a good one.
So do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, it's the Democrats that's holding up.
No,
the votes.
no, it's the Republicans that are arguing that
Why do we see it like this?
It's the Republicans that are arguing that we should defund particular Affordable Care Act subsidies that will increase Medicaid premiums for 55 million Americans by 75%. You know, so for like Medicaid recipients in Maine, a study was done on what would happen to them and their premiums if the Republicans got their way. Their premiums are expected to go up on average by $16,000 per year. Okay? Do you think people on Medicaid have $16,000 to spare?
No, they don't.
So, in other words, the Democrats are preventing the Republicans from bankrupting this country.
On another note, how do you feel about it not being about Democratic and Republican? So we are so hard and we go heavy on trying to throw dirt at one another. I feel like it wastes time more than anything.
Yes, exactly. It does waste time when Donald Trump blames the shutdown on the Democrats and says it's because they're fighting for health care for illegal aliens. It does waste time when Donald Trump says that he hates all Democrats. It does waste time when he says he wishes terrible conditions on his enemies. It does waste time when he prosecutes the Democrats like Obama, Biden, Kamala Harris, Letitia James, or James Comey. Yeah, yes, exactly. Yes, Donald Trump is a time waster. Instead of focusing on this country or making it better, instead he focuses on his own vengeance and retribution for the Democrats that lost him the 2020 election because he was such a terrible president his first time around.
So I can actually bring the information up of what is in the proposal, and it's on 51. If you give me a few minutes, I can bring that up.
Yeah, no, feel free. It's just going to be more spewed bullshit propaganda, but I'll happily respond to it.